And we are live.
Welcome back, everybody, to Strictly Casual. We have literally just finished watching episode 1 of HBO's The Last of Us. And Ryder, I have a million things to say. How are you
Me
feeling?
too. Yeah. I think it's great that I feel excitement, and I think overall, there's so many things that I could talk about, and I feel like we can go on forever. Overall, I feel great. I feel really great coming out of this episode. I want to know, how do you feel? How do you feel?
I also feel really great. I mean, I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
As time went on, I was very, very concerned about like what we were actually going to get versus like what we were told we were going to get.
Yeah.
And I've stayed away a lot. I've saw the first trailer, first teaser, but that's it. And I feel like this episode had so many moments that were like, this is like the game.
Yeah.
But also all new in a sense. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised by anything. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
They have additions to the game, which is in the show, quite a bit of additions, and they're going to need that because the game's it plays differently than it watches, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I told you this when we were talking in the pod a while ago, and I really think this is going to be the definitive story edition of the game, of the story Last of Us. But
so it'll expand.
Yeah. But I agree with you 100%. I do think this is going to be nothing really new, essentially, unless they I heard some people say it.
But there is.
Different.
We got the 1968 section, right?
It's
like in the intro, which is
yeah.
crazy. Also, this is a live broadcast. We're gonna do this every single week after the episode airs of The Last of Us. So in chat, feel free to ask any questions and stuff. We got Derpy 501st in the chat right now. He says, "Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Fire away. We are ready for it." Okay, so
we'll be talking in chat here back and forth.
I mean, I kind of just want to go through it like little by little.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah.
Also, how do you want to handle this? Do you want to say games? I don't think we should say game spoilers. I think we should just talk about the episode.
Just the episode. Try to
I think we should try to talk about it in a sense that the people watching might not also have played the game. Because I watched it with my roommate tonight who had never played the game, no idea anything about the game, and he was surprised at every single turn of things happening.
That's great. I'm watching it with my parents. They don't know, and
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so I'm trying to, I say and episode by episode's great.
That's who this is for. Honestly, that show, as much as it's for us who have played the game and love it, it is for people that have not experienced the game before. So I think people that are going to be interested in watching this as well might want to see, I think they're going to want to listen to some comparisons to the game a little bit on things, but I don't necessarily want to give away the big moments that we're building to. Like, even though we know exactly, we know where they're headed right now.
We know everything.
The radio thing at the end is a little new, but you know exactly who it is. You know who's behind it, like what's going to happen to who's behind it, and like everything like that. But I don't really want to say it. I don't want to say it.
I will say, like you said, I feel like this whole show is going to have only additions, that there won't be changes. So essentially, you're going to get the same thing from the game, but just extra, more in depth and more extensions to backstory in the future and the past, right? Stuff like that. But it's going to be kind of the same, I feel.
I feel like Sarah's story in the beginning, the expanded version where she goes over and helps her neighbor out after school. Like she gets the watch fixed for her dad, like at the store. Whereas like we were 20 minutes in, and I was like, oh, the game starts here. Like the first scene is like the couch, where Joel gets home, it's kind of like his birthday, gives him the watch. Yeah. But we got so much more on like how she went out of her way to go do this. Like it makes it all that more like soul crushing. Crushing. I just want to say welcome to Comic Book Indonesia in chat. What's up, Baba Shinga and Ryder? Glad to see you guys again. Glad to see you guys again.
Hello. Welcome in. Getting in the first moments, what we had with Sarah, the little bits that we had, the chemistry they had, it was so good because you felt like they weren't forcing anything, but they're throwing jokes to each other like a father-daughter would. You know what I mean? Like they're having fun, but it felt natural, man.
And it's the same good stuff, dude. They put on the movie, she gives him the watch, she falls asleep. It's the same exact shot. It's the same shot where they cut down and she's asleep on the lap. It's funny, when they opened with Sarah and she's waking up for school in the morning, I was expecting that to be the scene where she wakes up in her bed. Yeah. And she's walking around the house. Joel's not there. There's things slapping on the windows. But we get that later. We get that like 20 minutes later. I thought they were going to change it into like a daytime thing instead of a nighttime thing. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Right? And that's what's fun. Dude, I bet Neil's having fun with it because like a moment like that. And then the truck. Dude, when they're driving the truck and they turn the camera too. But I'm saying when they turn to the truck that hits them and it doesn't hit them. You're kind of expecting that, but it's like, dude, we're not gonna give you everything beat for beat, but like at least we know.
You expect that other car to hit the truck, but instead
it's the plane that gets
the plane, which was a jaw-dropping moment. Are you kidding me? That was insane.
Yeah, because from the trailer we saw it was just a plane crashing, but when you initially see that, it's like the planes are probably landing in the airport that's there, and they're like kind of going down. I'm like, oh my god, it's so frightening whenever you mess with planes, because like, dude, the people in the plane, and then you're on the ground, you're looking up, and you're helpless. It's horrifying, right?
I was like at the edge of my seat the whole time, even though I knew exactly what was going to happen at the beginning. I do think that the problem with this episode is it's too long, but they needed it to be this long to entice viewers for the second episode. Because where else would you lead it? You wouldn't leave it with Sarah's death. You just can't do that, and you have to build this world that you don't want to start the next episode building this whole world that Joel and Tess are in and stuff like that, because it would seem like, okay, when's the story going to start? That sort of thing. Whereas they wanted to start it all in this episode. I understand why it's long, but I felt the length. I would say like,
it is long. Because it feels like you're like, okay, there's with like, I mean, everything from the game, right? Where there's them with Robert, right? Robert's kind of an antagonist in the initial first little bits there. Yeah. And then even the introduction of Marlene was so quick, but yet with this show, they're really just showing who she is with the Fireflies, who she works. I mean, they're giving you every little detail of every character. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I could see it for somebody who's like not watching this being like maybe kind of boring, but I guess for someone like us, it's like, we know what this is, but it's just adding to something. It's different. It's different.
I wasn't bored. I wasn't bored at all.
It's not boring. It's more of like, giving us more. Yeah.
It was cool. They changed the order of events a little bit happening when they find Ellie, how they get Ellie, the reasoning behind it a little bit more, and stuff. Like I had just played The Last of Us when they redid the part 1, so it's still fresh. Like,
Me too.
Fresh.
Yeah.
The idea that they all met up, that sort of thing, over the car battery in Tommy's truck.
Initially looking for Tommy. They want to find Tommy, which was like,
right.
Maybe there's
that's cool.
Yeah, there's more motivation
instead of like
for
a
their
regular
journey.
smuggling run for something like that. That does give more motivation. I think it's Tommy could be a character that some people latch onto in a sense.
Yeah.
Because he's so prominent in the beginning.
Yeah, it was so sad to see them kind of separate, and you're like, oh man,
dude, it was horrible. It was so sad.
Yeah, you're like, God, you're like, I'll see you again, and you're like, will he die? Will he see him ever again? Who knows? That's the crazy part about this world, right?
I truly think they did Sarah's death scene, like, it's so sad, and they nailed it in this. They did perfect. They did shot for shot. Even the dialogue is so similar. Like, and I think Pedro Pascal is going to be a great Joel. And I think it took until he was like holding dead Sarah in his arms like, that was like, oh wow, he's bringing it. You can see his choices
too were different from like Troy Baker, and like,
of course he's gonna make it his own.
Because Troy Baker it was like an agonizing sadness, but for Joel it was more of like denial. It was just denial. It felt like that was the whole little bit, right?
For those who haven't played the game, Troy Baker is the original actor of Joel. Yeah.
So yeah, that was like cool to see, because we've seen everything about this game, the behind the scenes. We know Troy Baker's motivations, the voice actor. We know his motivations behind that scene. So to see Pedro be like, no, come on, get up, and just kind of like not really like accept it. It's more of just denial. I was like, this is so different and adds still gravity to the death.
It was great. Oh man, I really liked it. I think it has a strong. Here's the issue. Here's my issue. I think right now is watching this through the lens of someone that hasn't seen it before.
Yeah.
Right when it started, it took like till the grandma was like eating in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
My roommate was like, he's like, oh, this is kind of like Walking Dead, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, no, it's not. The only thing that is similar to that is that there's zombies, right? Or infected. Yeah. But the story's so much different. But I hope that people don't write it off as a zombie show, because it's so much more than that. But I'm concerned that might happen. I think there's a real possibility that we love it, and there's people that do love it, but then there's a lot of people that wish it off because it's a zombie show. Yeah. And they label it as that, and they don't actually get invested, which I'm concerned about.
Yeah. I mean, explaining it to my dad, and this is, of course, an older demographic, so I know it doesn't apply to everybody, but I was telling him, the fungus takes over, and then they mutate, and they become different species that we know. clickers and runners and bloaters, whatever. And he was like, oh, so there's zombies, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, there's zombies, okay? There's zombies.
But you don't want to say it. You don't want to say it because it puts it in a box. It puts it in a box.
And I'm like, they're not. It's different. It's a whole different thing about the struggles people have to go through, the gas mask. And maybe both of us can say taking away the gas mask kind of might hurt them. It might. I'm saying it might hurt them because they'll be like, yeah, it's zombies. But maybe if they did the gas and the spores, that might be different. But we'll have to see.
They showed the infected person against the wall with all like the fungus growing out of it and stuff, and I think that was cool. And they're gonna obviously evolve that to. There's gonna be more of that. What else did I really want to mention? I think they did a good job of showing how oppressive the Ferda camp is, the Ferda city. Because in the game, you're walking around as Joel, and like there's firing squad like killing people. And this one, they hang people in the street, and it's like, it's like disgusting. It's gross. The set design is awesome, just like the game too, which is so cool.
It's crazy.
The costumes are great. Tess is badass as ever in this.
So
she looks
good.
way more
Amazing.
Badass in this than that. Marlene is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm just happy for her that she gets to just return as the role, because for those who don't know, she is the voice actress of Marlene in the game. So happy for her. Okay, let's get into Ellie. I know there's not much of Ellie, but oh my god, already, dude. Just, you know what I'll say, even just the way she cusses is perfect. I don't like. I know she says she didn't see anything and she didn't hear anything of the game, but I'm just like, it sounds just like Ellie.
Ellie's an interesting character because at this point, like if you didn't know her journey or her story, you think she's a very annoying little girl.
Oh yeah, that's true. Good
and
point.
She is. You know what I mean?
She's all pissy,
and I think she's
mad.
She's doing good.
Yeah.
I also thought how much they just glistened over the fact that she had been bitten. Like at the end of the episode, Ellie's like, I'm bit. It's been 3 weeks. You got to trust me. We got to get out of here. And Joel's like checking his hand. He's like, I can't believe I just killed this guy. And they go through the fence and you're like, oh my God, that was so quick. I thought that was going to be like, I didn't know at what point they were going to end this episode, but I was like, maybe the second episode. That's like the big reveal for the third episode or something like that. Because there's 8 episodes in the show?
I believe 9, yeah.
9 episodes?
I think.
Dude, this is like, we got a big chunk of the story right here.
Yeah.
Not like all of it, but it's a
good intro.
Is the setup. This is the setup, and the journey has begun. Yeah,
essentially, right? I'm with you, because like that's a huge point, and we don't know why. Like it's like, okay, she's infected. Did they trick her? Why are they still taking her though if she's infected? Like I don't know. They needed more to that, because as someone who doesn't know, I'm sitting here like, why are they not going to make it a big deal? You know what I mean? Like
where are they going? Why is she important? What are they doing with her? I don't know. You're just gonna have to watch the show.
Yeah, so
gonna have to watch the show.
Let's hope that keeps people hooked. You know, I think it's gonna be great.
I think there's a lot to keep them hooked. I think Joel. Here's another interesting part too. I don't know how you felt about this. In the game, you play as Joel, and Joel is not necessarily a protagonist.
No, yeah.
I'm sure we will have this conversation again later on in the show. I'm sure we will have a big conversation.
Yeah.
But the idea that you have control over Joel's actions in the game, I hope that it translates well to the rest of the show, because you really don't like some of the things that the game forces you to do, and I hope that the game makes you love Joel enough to empathize with him, but also love him through the issues that he has.
And I see them trying that, and it was the triggering moment when he saw the federal agent, the federal guy aimed the gun at him, and he was like, and he got triggered. He thought about Sarah. Maybe their reasoning,
good.
It was for him to be violent and for him to kill that guy. I think the reasoning it to be like, look, he suffered a lot of trauma from that loss. Yeah, he's violent now, so maybe they're like. That's how you got to look at, okay, why Sarah? That's why he's violent. So hopefully, yeah. I mean, I don't see him going too far, because if they made him...
It's been 20 years, which is kind of crazy to think about too, is they did that 20-year jump. I was like, wow, they've been in this prison camp basically doing labor for 20 years.
Long time.
I also think it's crazy that they killed the guard that was like doing deals with Joel.
Oh yeah. See, like they're adding just a little bit of gravity. Yeah. They're adding just a little.
It's just enough to
feel
be
bad.
Interested. Yeah. Or like right after Sarah dies, the next scene is the little boy walking into the city, and they get taken by Ferda officers, and he gets, checked out, and it's the red, like he's infected, right? I didn't really understand the point of that scene. And the next scene is like Joel carrying the body out of the truck, and burning it.
Well, I had a whole different experience about that. Okay. I thought that was a young Ellie.
Oh, interesting.
We thought that I mean, all three of us were like, oh, is that like a young Ellie? They're going back?
No,
Because it looked like the hair and the red shirt. And then they're like, oh, look, this is when they found her. They're taking care of her. They're giving her like an immune shot or something, right?
It was to set up.
And then they killed her. And I'm like,
scene,
they're playing with us. That's what I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure that whole scene was to set up, one, they have to show the like monitor thing to see whether you're safe or infected, to set up that later scene, to make that more intense, to know what's happening. And they have to set up how oppressive this camp thing is too, and how ruthless these people are. They don't care about, they'll kill anybody. They'll kill kids, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's that time,
Right. I think that's what that was to set up. Now, it still seemed a tiny bit unnecessary, but I kind of got it. I got why it was in there after like the weight of like Joel's carrying another dead kid, and like here we go, like another person just like his daughter.
I know, right? Like they do it like nothing. How crazy! It's sad, crazy. But yeah, all the people are ruthless, right? Even Joel too, and what they've done.
Joel's ruthless, yeah.
With Robert and like I wish. Well, I don't know. Again, it's like that would have just even added more. Like show.
So in the game, Tess and Joel have kind of a shootout against Robert's guys outside of the Ferda thing. And it's kind of an intense, like, you're shooting, you're like running, chasing Robert because you really want to get some directions and stuff. I like how they did this better. This is way better for story pacing. Can you imagine if there's some crazy shootout that Joel has? And it would not work. Yeah, it works in the game.
Cringe. Yeah, I would have been like, oh, don't do it. It would have been
so cringe in the show. Yeah. I'm glad they didn't do it. This was a much better way to tie everything together, that Robert goes after Marlene to get the battery back. I think that was great. Fantastic.
Great storytelling. Yeah. So I guess going on to like when they get Ellie, they're holding on to her. They're sitting on the couch, and this is cool. Like it's kind of a setup for what the rest of the show is going to do, kind of with set pieces and stuff like that. When they're on the couch, Joel's laying down and Ellie's with them. It's not really. It's a hotel room too. So essentially, it's the same kind of scene from when he's laying down and she's like, "Hey, your watch is broken," and that kind of setup of where. But she gets to kind of look at some of his music stuff and the radio.
Yeah, she cracks the code. She cracks the radio code.
Yeah, that was kind of a cute little quirky thing of cool. like, oh, I figured it out. I'm like,
another note I kind of noticed in that scene was like, in the game, it felt like they were at odds a little bit more at the beginning. Like Joel would have been, oh, don't touch my stuff. Like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Oh,
obviously, the relationship is going to grow. I don't think that's a spoiler. They're going to have to spend a lot of time together. They're going to go through a lot of stuff.
Perhaps.
But I felt like they were at odds way more in the game than they are currently. I'm sure we're going to get more of a sense of that in the second episode of Joel is annoyed at this extra cargo that he has. He's like, there is not a mission or any sort of, there's no direction. Joel's direction right now is he's going to drop Ellie off wherever, right?
So
Joel's current mission is going to be, he's getting the car.
Oh, is he in the car? I'm going with Tess to find Joel. Tommy. Oh, Tommy, yeah. Joel. Sorry, he's find Tommy,
But then he's going to drop Ellie off.
Drop her off at the Capitol, at the State House.
At the Capitol.
With other Fireflies.
That's right. Drop her off with the Fireflies. Just do a little cargo run on the way. No problem.
So that's it. This moment, we know that moment will probably be a shift of his anger, let's say, right? Like more of his odds with her.
We'll see.
Because of what happens.
Well, I don't know. What happens, Ryder?
I don't know.
People are gonna have to watch it.
No, but yeah, because it does seem like he's a little too like okay, but maybe it gets more of an antagonistic. They could do that.
I want to talk about quality of show too. We've talked a lot about comparing it to the game, the story, and how it's different. And I think HBO is the right choice for this. I can't think of anything else that would be even close to bringing this. I can't think of another network that would let you shoot a kid, to be completely honest. Like
that's true. Yeah.
We had a kid get shot in the first 30 minutes of the show, Yeah. Not to say that's a good thing or anything, but it's necessary for the story.
It's necessary,
HBO is going to let them do a lot. I also think it looks incredible. I think there's a wide shot of the city that they did, and it looked incredible. It was like barren all around them.
Yeah.
But the huge city walls, the
more
CG
scope. It shows
like
scope.
so good.
Yeah.
The plane crashing was just like that whole scene in the city.
It was frightening.
Not
it really
not
was.
The city, not the Ferda city, but the
town. Yeah, the Texas town. We'll say, right?
What a great scene! I just thought that translated so well from the game to it because in the game you're watching it kind of through Sarah's perspective in the backseat of the car, and they just nailed it.
Yeah,
they nailed it. They put the camera in the back seat and they move the camera around the back seat to show what's going on, and it's just as much. It's just a stress. It's awesome.
And part of me wants to be like, hey, did Craig Mazin just say, hey Neil, like, look, your script is amazing. Give your script and let's just cut off some pay and just use the same because it's already so good. You know what I mean? Like some lines were like exactly the same for a whole page, I'd say.
I think my favorite line, dude, is when they're driving from the house. Tommy, Joel, and Ellie, or sorry, Tommy, Joel, and Sarah.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
House to the town.
Yeah.
And there's that car off to the side of the road, you know, and there's the two people, and Tommy's like, they got a kid, we gotta help him. And then Joel says, we got one too.
Keep driving.
Someone will come around.
Yeah.
He says someone will come around. And then and that line will be used again for sure. I mean, it gets used again. It's such a good line. It's such a good line.
And then even the sign, when they show up to the sign, I always remember this because it said San Marcos and whatever, right? Houston. And then they do the sign and it turns the other way. And then he's like, everyone had the same effing idea. And I'm like, that's the same line.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
same idea. It's all like all the traffic and stuff. It's just, it's built out the same, but they do it in a different way that is very cool. Like it's very, very cool.
More practical for like, this is what would like be.
It makes sense as a TV show.
Might I say grounded in a TV show setting.
Grounded.
No. Nice. But yeah, I can't wait for a montage to see of like all the comparisons of the video game and the show, and they kind of.
I'm sure they do a shot for shot
editing it. Yeah.
We're gonna see those pop up in about 2 hours.
Yeah,
actually,
everywhere.
Like, there's someone already on that.
Yeah. I guess okay. So I guess leading up to the next episode, I mean, I guess I don't really want to say like what we're looking forward to.
It's hard because I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't want to say that.
I could actually tell you. I could tell you how the episode ends.
Yeah.
Like this next episode.
No. Yeah.
I have a very good guess. I could probably tell you exactly like how this one will end.
Yeah.
It's a good portion of the story. I think. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it.
No, it's okay. We'll save it. But like, is there anything we're missing? We've covered the main characters that were introduced.
Yeah.
The kind of characterizations of Joel, Ellie, motivations.
Just another standout is like obviously Marlene was extremely good, but the way they introduced Tess was really good in this.
Oh yeah,
I think
she's all like beat up.
I wasn't 100% sure how they were gonna do it, but I thought they did a great job of showing Joel after the 20 years, and then you show Tess in her own thing, and then after Joel's long day, Tess comes home. And she doesn't even have to say anything. Yeah. She doesn't have to. You don't have to say anything, and you know exactly what's going on. And they did a lot of moments like that where they didn't need to actually verbalize what was going on. They just showed what was going on and you instantly got it. And I thought that was really cool. And I hope that hit for people that haven't played the game.
Yeah, because that's the same vibe that's insinuated. It's like, there's something there, but it's like, it's just open. They don't need to put a pin on it and say, yeah, they are, they aren't. But
they don't have to say, Joel, don't forget about our date tomorrow night. Or like something like, it's like, I don't know. It's like,
but yeah,
you're talking about her man or whatever, as if he's like a business, like only a business partner type thing. I think it's both ways. It's fun. Yeah,
it's great. Like no, yeah, I'm with you.
Episode 1 was a hit for me.
I'm glad. Hey, I'm glad, and I really think this is just gonna be me. I told you this before the stream, and for everybody at home, let me know if you were doing this too. I would always say, I would turn to my mom and be like, "Hey, your watch is broken," or hey,
ruining the show for them.
Yeah. I'd be like, drugs, I sell hardcore drugs. And then proceed to Sarah going, drugs, I sell hardcore. And I would just like, I'm like, and then I'm drugs, like, are you going to let me down, show? Yeah. Are you going to let me down? Or I'm just quoting.
No, they did. All the iconic lines are still in there, but they embellish them in a sense. Like they add more around it that gives it more gravity.
That's a great
I thought it was really cool. I think they have done a great service to the game. And they are treading their own path. And those are two things that I wasn't expecting it to do, to be completely honest. I was getting very worried at the lead up, especially with the quotes like Craig has said about how like, in video games, you can just respawn, so death doesn't really matter. And in the TV show, death only happens one time, so it's more intense. Or it's like, dude, the game is so good. Like, do you even know what you're adapting? That's what it made me think of. It was like, did you play the games? Like, do you know? There's a lot of disheartening comments like that I'm glad so far, after episode 1, I'm very excited for next week.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm with it.
Man.
And I'll finish with this. I feel like, I know Joel so well after watching the hours-long video essays, right? And playing him and kind of figuring out, why'd you do that, Joel? So to see Pedro kind of make choices and you're like, wow, that's what my Joel does. It's kind of like, selfish, I know, because I'm whatever, the viewer or whatever, it's the writer that has the power. I'm still just like, they know. I mean, it's Neil, so it's Neil that's doing him.
Dude, I really hope they nail. I hope they stick this.
Yeah.
God,
they're setting themselves up, so we'll see. Yeah. Will they stick the landing? Find out next week on... No, it's good.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else to add. I think we want to stress is after every episode.
Yeah.
Within 30 minutes of the episode ending.
Yeah.
It'll be right here. Right here, Strictly Casual. We're going to be talking about it and chatting it up. And yeah, if you want, you can please follow us on social medias. It helps us out a lot, like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. We're going
we'll have
hard
some
on the
stuff
short
for
form.
this. Yeah.
And then Twitter. That's where we announce all of our videos and all that kind of stuff too. We appreciate you guys being in chat. Derpy, Comic Book, all y'all. Thank you. We appreciate you guys watching live. This video will be up on YouTube after the fact as well, just for, on the channel, doing the thing.
And if you're watching too, feel free next week to come back and just kind of chat. We'll stop and we'll chat with you guys. We'll just kind of
totally yes.
And
if there's anybody watching right now that has anything they want to add to the conversation right now, we would love to hear it. And make sure to subscribe down below because we got a lot of awesome stuff coming. It's an exciting year full of stuff. If you're new to Strictly Casual, we do movies, TV, games, and all the above. You can come hang out with us. We appreciate you guys.
And all the chungus. No, just kidding. Okay.
All the chungus.
Endure and survive. Endure
and survive, baby. Hey, when you're lost in the darkness,
look for the light.
Look for the light.
That's great.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace out. Okay, bye. Bye, everybody.